Let's take a look at how to export our Illustrator files. Now, getting it ready for the print or maybe digital distribution, both of the things we're going to look at. So maybe looking at emailing at PDF as a PDF or having it downloaded from a website. I'm going to wrap that up in this tutorial. Especially web export, we'll look at that one as well. So to jump this one, if you want to, let's get started. And two things we need to quickly check before we create our PDF, which is going to be our probably most useful exporting file from it. Now we need to check both the color mode and the raster settings. Basically, color mode is RGB versus CMYK. We went through this in the earlier tutorials. So check that one out. Let's say I'm going to a local print shop on the corner and they're going to run me off like 100 copies or 1000 copies. So it's best to send them in RGB. So we'll be working from the beginning in RGB. You can switch it later on here, but RGB is going to give you the better results. You can go to file menu and document setup a color mode. You can change it here. Okay. Now if you're working in a big kind of offset printing, they'll typically call it. So it's big printing, you're going to print like 10,000 copies or something like that. Then they're going to require a CMYK document. We can go same here, go to document color mode and change it to CMYK. That will give a difference in color as well, as discussed earlier in tutorials. Okay. Next thing we need to double check is under effects, and there is document raster settings. Previously, we discussed that we need to have a lower resolution here because it makes the computer run smoothly while you're working. Now, after you're done with the whole work, then you can choose high, give it 300 ppi, like super high quality. Doesn't matter that your machine is slow, but after you completed this, then this is just one single click and it won't be any problem later on. Then we're going to go to file and save as. So in here I'm going to put it to my desktop. Down here is the format. We can choose any one of these formats, but we are going to do a PDF for now. And let's click save. So I have this dialog box here. There are basically two things you need to do. You need to drop down this and give it a high quality print. This is really good default. You're not going to run into problems with that one. The other thing is you can turn this off. Check on here and turn this off. This on basically means that PDF you're making is basically a full working Illustrator file. We don't need to go to the printer. We have got an Illustrator file already. Now the big problem is that the file size can be huge when this is left on. So if you do find yours is really big file size PDF and you're like, why are this file so big? Then because this is left on while saving this. Okay, now that we have unchecked this, we can click and save PDF. It'll give it a warning that that particular option preserve Illustrator editing capabilities. You have turned that thing off. So don't worry, so give OK. And it'll do its thing and save the file. Alright, so let's just try and open that out. There I have my PDF file. What is the file size? That is 449 KB. That's a regular size. That's okay. It's half a megabyte. And it's ready to go to print. And because it's RGB, the one here can be downloaded from the net as well. So my file size is really small. And you need to be smaller for a website or an email. You can do some slight adjustments. Let's just do another save as. Just go to file menu and give save as. And I'm going to call it a low res. So let's say low res. and it's going to be a smaller one. It's not going to look back, just the file size will be smaller. So let's just go ahead and save. Click here and give the smallest file size. And that's a good thing here. There's going to be a web. Now for this one, it's by default this is turned off, and we are ready to go. Give save PDF. Give OK. Now let's just take a look. I'll go file, open, and there I have my low res, and it is 101 KB. That is significantly smaller. It's about quarter of the size of the earlier document. That's a lot more important. When you get a file size, maybe say 20 MB, and a quarter size would be great. So those who have a commercial printer, this one have to go for maybe email version or a website version. Last thing you might want to do is you're not exporting for. I'm closing them down. Now I'm going to open up the original AI file, and what you want to do is I want to send this to somebody else. Let's say you want to send this file to somebody else who wants to further work with this file. You can do is got a colleague or whatever, and they want to work on this Illustrator file. You want to archive this, so you can go to File and go to Package. Click on this, and it will ask where you want to like package this. You can go choose this location. Let's just say this one, desktop. Select folder and the package. Okay, show package, and there I have my file that is here. Fonts, extra fonts that are used here. Links for this image, I've used a link here. So also a report here with some little details about the document, and I have here a PDF because I opened a PDF, so it came with a PDF as well. We're going to look at exporting Illustrator files for web now. We're going to look at the JPGs and the PNGs, doing the full artboards and the little individual items as well. So I have two artboards here, artboard 1 and artboard 2. We're going to look at two different kind of versions for exporting. This one is just going to be JPG. I want a JPG that I can email or put it on my website, and this one here is going to be exported in different individual pieces. So let's do this one, the first of the technique. We're going to go to File menu, Export As, and click. Here I have an option of choosing the file format. I can go PNG or JPG. JPG will be better suitable for this particular image because there is no transparency. It's just a nice flat rectangle and lots of colors. So for this, JPG is perfect. I'm going to check on this option, use artboards. Without it, it's just export everything that you see here, which you might like, depends on your artboard. Now I'm gonna say go. By default, it'll be all here. You can click here, and I want the first particular artboard, so I'm going to give one number here. In case I give number 2, it will export this second artboard here. So I want the artboard 1, so I'll escape it 1 and go ahead and click export. We have an option here for color model, that is RGB, CMYK, or grayscale. Now we can decide the quality of the file. Now we should keep it between 8 to 10. But look at the file sizes at the end of it. It's huge then because of the quality. So just to balance this, file size versus quality. I'll keep it around at 8. It gives you kind of a nice balance between two. Now, when it comes to resolution, this is also one of the balancing fact. If it's going for print, we should be not it should be a high 300 ppi. But if it's going to be traditional kind of on screen or website, 72 will work because screens are changing quite a bit. It's a high resolution, retina, high DPI, other things like that. I can give other and just manually give like 1000 DPI as well. But that's going to give me a huge file. So I'm going to give it 72 ppi here. You might kind of get in the middle and go for 150. That's what I would typically do. Now let's just choose this and take a look at the result. I'm going to give OK. Replace because I had this particular document exported earlier, so it is asking me to replace. So let's just replace this. File. Now I'm going to go place. And there I have my document. It is 150 KB and it's fair enough. Size is good enough. And it's JPG format. Alright, that looks fine. Ready. Now, if I use the same method here, I'll get this whole artboard as JPG and all of these guys together. But I want them as separate icons. I might have designed it for a website or for an application. I want all of these separate. So we can do to window menu and we have something called asset export here. This I'll just take it up in here. Okay. So what I'd like to do is watch this. I'm going to click and drag the owl. It is going to give me a little asset here. OWL, owl. Alright, so same thing with the crown as well. Just click and drag and I can give it a name as crown, CROW and crown. Yeah. So you get the idea here. We're going to run through a problem in a second. I'll show you what it is. And an alien, just alien, and alien. All right. So, and this is the good ninja. Select all of these and click and drag. And you see there are 4 different parts of an asset. This happens when the object is not grouped. So I'm going to give a Control Z and go ahead and give group. So make sure that this is one single group. You can see that these things are separate, not one single group. That is why it will give me 4 different assets. So select all these, group. Now it is a one single asset. Now let's just click and drag here and give it a ninja here. N-I-N-J-A, ninja. All right. Now I need to select them. Click select. I'll hold shift and you can select them all, or you can just hold control and select one by one, all of them. Now I can decide what format do I want. You can export them as PDFs here, which is cool. But in case a JPG won't work here because it will give me a white background, but I want a transparent background. So we're going to give a PNG or an SVG. SVG is kind of a new, so talk to your web designer or app developer if they want SVGs. It's getting more and more popular, but PNG is more probably the most typical. You might decide, I'm actually not sure, so I'm going to send the both. You can send them both as well, yeah. So instead of scale, we're going to say, I want to see SVG as well. Just give PNG here, 1x, yeah. So it is going to give me two formats here. Now, let's click export. Export, I want to be exported here. Let's just select folder, exporting, all right. Now let's just go ahead and try placing the object here. So go inside, in 1x, and there I have my PNG icons here. Place, click here. So there I have my icons intact. Just click on here. Let's try SVGs now. SVGs I already had them, so just place. Okay, go back. Here I have a SVG folder. So select all of these, place here. So SVGs are scalable vector graphics, and as you can see, the PNG is kind of pixelating, and SVG is not so much pixelating. So it's a good practice now. SVG is getting more and more popular these days, so prefer using SVGs as well. This is editable. I can change the color here. I can ungroup and ungroup here. Just select this object, change the color like so. So SVG is a good option here when you are trying to export things here.